On today's show, we'll be continuing with Healthy Choices Week and with videos about blindness and deafness.
But first, some announcements.
Good morning, Santa Teresa. Today is Wednesday, November 18th. I'm Annie.
And I'm Nick, and these are your morning announcements. So, Annie, what's up with the Christmas attire?
Okay, don't judge me. It's basically Christmas already. Haven't you seen all of the advertisements around?
Well, yeah, but Thanksgiving hasn't even passed yet, so you gotta slow down your roll there, kiddo.
Okay, whatever, Christmas spirit killer. As I'm sure you all know, the Powder Puff game is next Tuesday, November 24th, here at ST. For the first game, we have our freshmen and juniors playing at 3:30. Then at 4:30, we have our seniors and sophomores. And then there will be a championship game, and the two remaining teams will fight for first place. Also, a bonus for you all. Snacks will be there for you guys to eat. And pre-sale tickets are starting on November 19th through Monday, November 23rd for $3. Tickets will also be sold at the door for $5. What a bargain.
Want to show your seniors some love? Then make sure to buy a Thanksgiving gram. They'll start selling November 19th through November 23rd at lunch and break in front of Senior Wall for $2. Grams will be delivered during 4th period on Tuesday, November 24th. Another way to show your senior class some love is to go throw a pie at your teacher's face. Who wouldn't want to do that? Come and buy a whole pie for lunch, for $2 at lunch this Friday.
Hey! Do you want to see if it's going to snow this week? Because I really want there to be a snow day.
Dude, seriously.
Let's check out the weather. Dang, no snow.
Annie, are you forgetting where we live? How can we have snow if we don't even have enough water to make it?
Well, we don't have any snow. But you know what we do have? Hear ye, hear ye. It's the new Santa Teresa app. It's available for Android and iOS, and it has a bunch of cool new features. Now you have the bell schedule, Navient, school news, info on clubs, and much more just at your fingertips. Make sure to download it soon. Also, the canned food drive is going on until this Friday, November 20th. So make sure to bring all your food donations to room 412 or any office. If you would rather donate a $10 gift card from Safeway, Trader Joe's, or Whole Foods, that would also be appreciated. Now, are you worried that you'll never get the opportunity to shine in your spotlight? Well, worry no more, because ST Drama Club is now holding open auditions today after school. The play is called Africa of the Dark, and everybody is welcome to try out.
Yo, Annie, so what's up with the clubs?
You know what, Nick? I'm not sure at all, but I would love to know if there's a Christmas club.
Well, Annie, sorry, but no Christmas club. But that's all the announcements we have for you today. Make sure to send your announcements to tinyurl.com/stbcast.
And make sure to follow me on Twitter!
I think you mean to follow at STHS News on Twitter.
Okay, well, I guess. So now let's move on to the second day of Healthy Choices Week. Today is the day of perception.
That's right. Today we're looking at disabilities that have to do with senses, specifically blindness and deafness. There are many blind students at our campus, so let's take a look at this first.
My disability is I have light perception, which means I could only track light. I was born premature, so when I was born when they put me in the incubator, I didn't have a blindfold, which kind of caused my vision to kind of get damaged and stuff too a little bit. There's things that other people see and I can't see, and there's cool things that other people can do, and they you need vision for them. And sometimes I can't do it because I don't have vision. I'm a sports person, so I like to do sports like track and field. Sometimes like doing obstacle courses, you have to know like when to like jump, duck, and stuff like that. And I can't really see the obstacles that much. Like I could see them, but I'm not sure like when they're coming up and stuff. So it will be kind of hard for me to do it. I would like people to treat me like with respect and just like treat me kind of like a regular person.
Hey Santa Teresa, as many of you may know, there's a small group of blind folk who come here to our school every day, and not everybody knows how to politely conduct themselves around those blind folk, and not everybody knows what being blind really means. This video is here to answer a couple of those questions.
My disability is I have light perception, which means I could only like track light and shadows and stuff.
It is most often inherited and affects about 8% of males and under 1% of women. Legal blindness is a level of vision loss that has been legally defined to determine eligibility for benefits. The clinical diagnosis refers to a central visual acuity of 20 out of 200 or less in the better eye with the best possible correction, and or a visual field of 20 degrees or less. Blind people use Braille. Braille is a system of raised dots that can be read with the fingers by people who are blind or who have low vision. Teachers, parents, and others who are not visually impaired ordinarily read Braille with their eyes. Braille is not a language. Students who are visually impaired use a system of raised dots known as Braille to both read and write. Symbols are formed within units of space known as Braille cells. A full Braille cell consists of 6 raised dots arranged in 2 parallel vertical rows, each having 3 dots. The dot positions are identified by numbers 1 through 6. 63 combinations are possible using one or more of these 6 dots. Cells can be used to represent a letter of the alphabet, a number, punctuation mark, or even a whole word. There are several ways blind folk get around. 2 of the most common ways include a cane, which can vary by size, small ones for children and long ones for tall people. However, some people like to use a guide dog to get around. These dogs are especially trained to move around things, go through doorways, and stop at curbs and stairs. We were given permission by Miss Roberts to conduct an experiment. The experiment included a student from our group experiencing the day blind. He was given sunglasses to cover his eyes, so there was no light that could pass through.
It was actually pretty difficult. We kind of people who are not blind, they actually we take our vision for granted. It was actually very hard. Like, he's kind of worried about like bumping into things, even though it's pretty hard. I kind of think they treated me just a little bit differently, not too much. Like, they're mostly like questioning, like, oh, what the heck is up with him? But it wasn't like super like bad or anything. Well, what made it different was like the fact that it's like when you put on those glasses, it's like you could really not see anything. And usually when that happens, it's like you're kind of worried that you'll like bump into something or trip. And like, it's kind of like when you do that in public, it's like your self-esteem kind of goes down. So it's like really difficult trying to like know where you're going, and yet at the same time try not to embarrass yourself.
In an interview with a visually impaired student that attends Santa Teresa High School, he demonstrated to us how to use a Braille machine and a special tool that can connect to the internet known as a Braille sense. There are several ways one can become blind. However, the most common ways include head injury, glaucoma, retinal detachment, cataract, and age-related macular degeneration, also known as AMD. Many people believe that blind folk don't do as well in school because they are visually impaired. This is not the case, however. Here at ST, we have a couple of blind folks that attend every single day.
So my job is to make sure that my students have access to the curriculum. By the time they reach high school, most of what I'm doing is making sure that they have good access to the technology that they can use to get information. We live in a really cool time period because most of what my students want to access can actually be accessed now at their fingertips because of the internet. So oftentimes it seems they come to high school without as much knowledge about the internet as regular students. And so I spend a lot of time focused on making sure that they can access that information. We also talk about how to get books into a format that works really well for them. And then beyond that, I also am involved in helping them understand things that they're learning in the classroom if they don't feel like they understood it the first time. Because sometimes learning is more challenging when you are visually impaired.
I hope this video helped answer some of your questions about how to act around the visually impaired and what it really means to be blind. This has been Thomas Sargis. Have a good day, Santa Teresa.
Wow, that was some solid information. Thanks, guys.
If you ever want more information or have a question that wasn't answered in the video, be sure to attend our student panel at lunch today in the library.
Now, the next video is about deafness, right?
Yes, let's get some more information on that.
I was born deaf. I really don't think of myself as being different, because I've always been around a lot of deaf people. I see hearing people talking and deaf people socializing amongst each other at deaf schools and such, so I really don't think that there's much of a difference in that. I lived in a dorm with all other deaf students. Everybody who is deaf lives there just like everybody who's hearing lives together, so I don't really see myself as different from anybody else. As a deaf person myself, I don't think of myself as being disabled. Disability really means a lot of different things in a different way. So, for example, if you're the only hearing person in an all-deaf high school and you don't know ASL, you automatically become disabled. Many people think that disability means that something's not working, and I really disagree with that. Like, if deaf people walk into a room and everyone there knows ASL, they're not considered disabled. With deafness, we have a way to communicate, so we don't really think of ourselves as being disabled. I've had an experience before, like at a coffee shop, where people have cut in line in front of me, and I was the one who was there first. It was my turn to take my order, and people try to cut in front of me, and it's like, excuse me, I was here first. You have to be proactive and speak up. There's a lot of people who become deaf as they get older, who lose their hearing, and they tend to get more respect than someone like myself who doesn't get the respect because I was born deaf. I didn't gradually go deaf or become deaf later, so those types of people tend to get more of the respect than myself. For someone who is deaf but has the ability to speak, or someone who's hard of hearing, people like that may need closed captioning on the TV because they're still not able to hear everything on the TV. Well, I need closed captioning too, so together we can work as a team and help others to get these things accessible to us.
Well, the deaf community is pretty self-sufficient. Most people in the deaf community feel that they don't have a disability or anything. They don't think that there's anything wrong. They don't think that they need to be fixed. They just see themselves as everybody else. They just think of themselves as using another language, sort of like someone speaking Spanish or German or something. They just use American Sign Language to communicate. So most deaf people don't really think about, oh, I need help, or I need this and I need that. They don't think about things like that. They just go about their lives the way you and I do.
You don't read lips. Okay, alright.
I've had Miss Sicoli for the past 4 years of ASL, and with the class at our school, she tries to give us enough vocabulary and understanding of the grammar to where we can understand and speak the language. And another big part of it is learning deaf culture. Um, the way she teaches, we're not allowed to talk in the class, so a lot of things that are common in deaf culture and like how you interact with another deaf person are things that we experience because we're not allowed to talk in class. Last week, a customer came in and he asked for a 8.5 in our new skate high. And I was like, and he kind of the way he spoke was a little mumbled, and it was almost as if he was trying to gesture things with his hands. And I asked him if he signed, and he answered yeah. And then from there we communicated with some speech, some sign language, which is something as an ASL student I encounter commonly. I don't know whether or not to instantly start signing to them or to just speak to them because there's a wide spectrum of deafness. You could be anywhere from completely deaf, not hearing an explosion behind your head, to being like hard of hearing and having it correctable with cochlear implants or hearing aids. So that being said, with this specific man, his name was Alex, he told me that he wanted a new waterproof shoe because he was moving to Portland, and I talked to him in sign language about my family I have there, and it was cool to be able to treat him just as like another customer that walks in, because if I weren't there, I feel like he would have just been handed his shoes and the situation would have been over. So typically whenever I do meet a deaf person in public, it's almost like a pleasant surprise for them that there's another person for them to be able to communicate with. That's at least just in my experience, being friendly and approaching them. Yeah, deaf people are just cool people, just like anyone else.
Can't.
I think some of the things that people need to understand when they first meet a deaf person is that Not to be afraid of them. A lot of people just kind of, oh, you're deaf, and they don't know what to do. The best thing you can do if you don't know how to communicate with a deaf person is just pull out good old-fashioned paper pencil and write back and forth. People have the iPhones and everything now. You can just text what you want and just show it to them. Gesturing, things like that. Also, I think people need to understand that most deaf people can't read lips. Only 5% of deaf people can read lips. So that leaves 95% of deaf people who can't. So if you're trying to have a deaf person rely on just watching your face and your mouth, you're not going to be successful with communication. It's always best to just, write back and forth. Also keep in mind that a lot of deaf people, their first language is not English. So sometimes if you're having a communication breakdown, just stay patient and try to just, break it down a little bit easier when communicating with a deaf person.
Wow, it seems like there's a lot to learn about how we treat the deaf community.
Yeah, I agree. Heads up, we don't have a lunchtime activity day, but ASB has made many posters that will widen your perception about disabilities. Take some time to look at those. Also, don't forget that the student panel is in the library at lunch.
Well, that's all we have for you today, Santa Teresa.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Annie, signing off.
Yeah.
Trying to make a trap beat.